This part that I'm on at the moment is very rocky, so I'm having to really keep an eye on my foot placement. Hi, I'm Ash. I've worked with over thousands of runners over the last decade. I'm a running coach, a running injury prevention specialist. I work with over 165,000 runners every single week on my Run Better with Ash follow along channel. And I'm also an average runner myself and an avid trail runner. So I'm ready to go. I've got my pack, I've got some extra carbohydrates if I need them, I've got a tiny little bit of extra water if I need it as well. I've got my phone just in case, and I've also got my navigation on my watch. So you just need to be a little bit extra prepared when you come into a new trail and a new environment. Just make sure you're a little bit safer rather than sorry. So let's get started. So one of the main differences between trail running and road running is obviously the surface, the terrain you run on. It constantly changes, not only in what's underfoot, but in terms of the elevation and the undulation. I'm running up a hill now. So what that does is, it changes your pace. And one of the big aha moments I had was, why am I not able to run at the same pace that I can on the road? And it's so simple. The terrain is different. It's undulating. You can't get as a flat and consistent rhythm as you can on a road. It's also quite incline and decline. That changes your pace. So you have to switch your mindset when you start running, and you can't focus on what your pace is, which is a good thing. It gets you out of the habit of constantly looking at our pace and judging our runs by our pace. If you are wanting to gauge your effort, you can do that RPE scale, the rate of perceived exertion, and you can test where you are out of 10. 10 being something that you can just hold for a short time, like a sprint for like 10 seconds. And you want to try and play about with staying in maybe 5 or 6, sometimes even pushing into a 7 in the hills or an 8, and just learn to tune into that RPE scale. Or you can use your heart rate monitor. If you've got ideally a chest strap or an arm strap, it gives you a much more accurate measurement. You always get little unexpected elements like this, like a bog full of sloppy mud. And if you can navigate it around it, otherwise sometimes you've got to go into that. But luckily I found a little adventurous path around it, which is cool. This part that I'm on at the moment is very rocky, so I'm having to really keep an eye on my foot placement. So this is where your eyes become wider. You sort of really tune into the place around you, the environment that you're in. You become almost hypersensitive to your environment and become hyper alert. So there's no time for thinking. There's no time for thinking about emails or messages. You've got to be here right now. I can't take my eyes off here because I'll trip and stumble down into that stream below. One thing you learn pretty quickly about trail running as well is when the incline gets really steep. I mean, I'm having to do big steps to get up this. Really big steps. It's really steep. You can power walk. So take the ego out of it and power walk as much as you need to. If you need to take a power walking technique, you can place your hands on your thighs and push up like this. Sometimes it just adds that extra little bit of support and just bringing your upper body into play to help out your legs. But embrace the power walk, because nature will give you a little bit of a nudge to say, hey, it's time to power walk now. really cool sights like this when you do trail running. I'm not really enjoying it. So when you're trail running, you've always got to look ahead, 2 to 3 meters ahead of where you're running, depending on how fast you're running, so that you can see what's coming ahead and what you're planning. So I can see there's a flat spot here, so I'm going to come up onto this bit here. I'm going to make that nice flat spot. I'm going to try and avoid these rocks as much as possible, constantly trying to pick out the flatter spots in the terrain, trying to avoid the loose stuff, trying to find again the nice flat point here, look, trying to avoid any wet mud, trying to avoid this loose stuff here. I'll pick this nice flat route here, try and get off that loose stuff now onto this flat. So you're constantly looking 2 to 3 meters ahead and trying to plan your safest route through the environment that you're in. So I spoke about cadence in the easy runs video, and a great way to practice your cadence is to get out on the trails, because if you're really stompy and heavy, it's going to hurt a lot more and you're probably going to slip on some of the loose stuff or into the mud. So you have to have like light and quick cadence when you're on the trails. If you look at my footsteps now, I'm constantly really quickly adjusting to the environment. The thing is with your cadence as well, when you're trail running, and I'm going downhill constantly now, just on a real slow descent. To help your body, you have to have a quicker cadence, quicker than 180. It might be up into 190 or 200. Imagine running on ice. Now, if you did big, stompy jumps on ice, you're going to slip. Same type of principle if you're on mud or loose rock like I am now. If I'm doing big jumps on that, big bounding jumps in a slower cadence, I'm much more likely to slip because my foot contacts are going to be heavier. Another sort of safety tip when you're on trails is to pick your feet up, whether you're running downhill or uphill or just on the flat. Pick your feet up 2 to 3 inches higher than you think you normally would need to, because there's always a little bump in the surface, there's always a tree root, there's always a little rock that you're not planned for. When you're running as well on trails, try to stay relaxed, because if you're stiff as a board, quite tense, the slightest little undulation drop or little stumble on a rock or something and you're going to have a big fall. So if you stay relaxed, relax your shoulders, relax your arms, use your arms for balance as much as possible. Again, that nice light and quick cadence. If you stay relaxed, you can adapt to something. If you trip and stumble, or if you get something wrong, you can be a little bit more relaxed with it and you can flow with the environment rather than sort of bash into the environment. So try and be a bit more relaxed. So this is where you've got to be really light and quick and agile. So your feet are fast and you're constantly moving, trying to pick a good route. When you're running on trails as well, your fueling strategy changes depending on each run. So each run varies with what the terrain you're running on. So in winter, if it's more sloppy, it's going to zap your energy more. If you're running on higher elevation, again, it's going to zap your energy more. The weather, like today, it's hotter. It's one of the hotter days we've had this year. So you need to take that into account. And because I'm used to easily running you know, 10k to 16k to half marathon distance. But today's run, 17k, around about 11 miles. I'm just making sure that, you know, I've got enough carbohydrates and a little bit extra water to make sure that, you know, I can be proactive with your fueling rather than having to be reactive and, you know, have nothing.